Hey, what's happening, everybody? So I got a little thing going on here as I'm paying attention, and this is the first time we got enough rain to actually fill that ditch that I dug, right? And you see the flow rate is close to be right, but I'm gonna have to double the width of that ditch and the volume of what that can handle in order to make sure I'm shedding the water I need to shed. It makes into that bend there, and it got a little overflow. And if you look down here, up on the grass, about a foot or two away from the actual ditch that the water's running in. The water's running down here like so, right? So, it's coming up above that. So that means I got to double that, the volume of that, in order to be able to keep a good flow. When you look over that side, we got over to where she has her green trash can. You'll see a little pipe in the middle of that. That's our property line there. That's like the marker. You see how it's puddling there? It's running down into the culvert that goes under the street into the creek across the street. But you see how the puddle's a little high there, right? So the soil is probably a little too low there and a little too high as it comes towards the culvert. So that's got to come down a little bit, right? And then with the piping, when I put that in, the French draining, and then when we fill it all in, it'll be similar if not a little higher level, like soil, or not soil but crushed stone. So I was noticing that, and I figured let me grab you all so you can kind of see what I'm talking about and see why I did this, so I can see if that volume is going to be enough. And here comes another big splash. This culvert that rolls underneath here, underneath the garage here, or the driveway, shall I say, is about a 10-inch or 8-incher. I didn't do a full measurement and all, but you see what I'm getting at, right? So we're gonna get rid of that, because I want to keep this soils. I'm gonna bring this up way more, out to, like, say, if I come out to something at least where this meter is, or maybe out a little further, but like right around here-ish, right? I'm gonna bring, that's gonna have some kind of a retaining wall to hold the soil level. That'll be still have an angle runoff, but it'll be up higher, right? And then that'll match for fill with stone after all these French drains are in there that can handle this kind of volume. And then that way, if there's anything more than what the pipes can handle, at least it stays down in this gully and rips down through the stone. You know what I mean? It'll still be able to flow. Well, we'll see how it goes. I don't know. But that's the plan so far. At least for the front side. And as far as when we get the roof done, we're getting the gutters done. And I can see that they're handling most of the volume, but when it really starts letting loose, we get a little bit of run over, and it must just not be able to handle the volume that we need. And I'm thinking what's going on there is that in these pipes, they're probably clogged in some form. So I'm thinking I'm going to be digging them up somewhere down the line here and redoing them, or at least trying to figure out where they run exactly and where the ends are, and then unclog the ends so they can get a good flow. You know what I mean? But this isn't the end of the world, but I want to keep it that way, right? I don't want to soak in the volume up over here, and then it winds up underneath the house, and then rot and moisture and all that goodness. Or not so goodness necessarily. Right. yeah, some of the things we're dealing with at the moment, you know what I mean, or being able to get to. Alright, see what I'm saying now that the rain chill a little bit over this way. It's too low there. And does it eventually wind up over here? Yeah. But they don't have a drain going through their driveway. Alright? So it's built up over here. It's hot. This is the low side. That side's too low. It's got to come uphill to even make it to here. That don't bother me as much on that side, but yeah, I wouldn't mind being able to get rid of it so it don't wind up building up on here too much. See, I mean, this part flows pretty decent. Right here I got some rocks I got to bust out a little bit. So it's got a little bit of a dam it's got to get over. That should improve on that flow. But I still don't like how much it was jumping up over the soil this way here. It's working good enough. It was all running over this part. We don't want that there. Fucking butts from people flicking them across in the street. Looks like we had to, when I was mowing, I was doing this kind of late in the evening, and I was running over a bunch of voles or moles or groundhogs were jumping out of the holes and getting all shooken up. I guess they were already crawling around. And I think I whacked a couple of them. And I'm finding, see the scat right there? That ain't nothing small, whatever that is. And I'm thinking, and I found a bunch of scat I got over here too, right around that bush. I'm thinking something came down here and made a meal out of those fresh kills on the lawn. Because it ain't grass clumps. I mean, otherwise it works alright. That's just a support cable. Earlier in the season, you can see past a lot of this, but you can see that water's rolling pretty good over here. Might be able to get a little peek. There you go. So this is what the water all rolls into from my side over to this side, of course. Up the mountain above us, all that goodness, right? So it's a decent sized gully. It's a creek, right? That's what they claim it would be. It's very creek-like to me, it looks like. But the bad boy can get rolling. And part of what I'm trying to prepare for is just in case I can't get all of our water over here fast enough or whatever, I have a little extra ability to handle that. And at least shed it from the house, right? I'm not too concerned about it, like I'm not like running scared kind of thing. But at the same time, it'd be stupid not to, especially when you can see you could use some help, right? So that's the whole reasoning for that. As far as the gardening and stuff like that goes, yeah, we're gonna still do that stuff. I got the way I'm gonna be doing this garden. I gotta readjust the soil first and do all the changes I'm gonna make on the land first to try to get better drainage and shed the water and keep the water levels down. I really don't have a problem with water, but I don't want this to become my problem, right? You get what I'm saying? And I think they couldn't have done better before, and I'm going to do the improvements to try to do that before I can really get into all that. And one part of it, well, it's the tractor. I need a tractor because my body can't be doing all that stuff by hand, unless it's last resort for food. And really, I'm not there right at the moment. So what I'm gonna do is, do what I gotta do for regular house stuff. Take care of the, things like we got a log splitter, we got a trailer, but I still gotta get, some kind of all-terrain vehicle, and I still gotta get a tractor so I can do all these things. And when it comes to the changing the soil around, taking some high spots and moving them to low spots and reshaping everything and putting different drains in and all that stuff. And that has to happen first before I can start playing with the actual garden stuff, because the garden stuff's going to wind up on top of what that is. You know what I mean? In a sense. So, you got to work smart too, right? So, yeah. Apologize if we don't have as much content as we once did. But it is coming eventually. Just, bear with me. Keep an eye out, and we'll see you next time. God bless y'all. This is Brandon from Philly Gardens in West Virginia, aka Philly 369 Garden. God bless y'all. See you next time.